Hey folks, I finally got a decent day here in Texas, and I wanted to take a video of this thing for a good while now to show everybody. This is my end-all be-all bike. It took me years and years and years to collect parts to put this thing together, and this is a 1985 ATC250R Mugen with a short course kit. It's a flat track bike. I'm probably going to have to do two parts because I want to go through everything thoroughly. So I'm going to start in the front and go to some literature in between, showing you the different parts and what makes this bike in particularly special. And then going back and forth, between the literature and the bike itself. So yeah, let's start with the front. So obviously you see the front forks are completely different, being that they are painted. I did paint those, but they came painted from Mugen in gold. So did the rear shock, which I do not have yet, but that wasn't the rear shock to me. That's the piece out of the kit that I can live without, just because it's just valving change. So the front forks are super trick, and they are Mugen forks, and I painted these the same color as the swing arm, the proper gold. Mugen had like a more deeper bronzy gold, and so I left a little bit of the original paint underneath this, and so you'll see that this is kind of strange. Why would this be here? Well, that's to protect the adjustment for the fork, and so this adjusts your dampening. And I don't know if you can see in there, that's the original Mugen gold color. You can see it's just a tad bit darker, but you know me, I had everything matched. So yeah, they came gold painted from Mugen. They are ATC250R forks that you could have ordered from Mugen or your Honda dealer if he had a race team, from what I understand. And I've been down a rabbit hole with this Mugen stuff for years and years and years. So not the foremost expert, nobody is. It gets really strange as you get into the 85 and 86 stuff, whether that be CR or the ATC250R, and CR250, CR125, all that stuff. It gets weird. So anyways, staying with the forks, go up and you have NASA adjusters at the top. NASA was a Japanese brand that made some really trick stuff back in the day, and that stuff is so hard to find. I don't think that they ever produced anything to sell here for some reason, and so these are very hard to find. And these are like almost like an aircraft aluminum, and I got this whole setup from the same guy. He was a nerd like me, and it's just a great guy to even sell this stuff to me. Because you can spend decades before you even see any of this stuff come up for sale, and that's the truth. And so anyways, if you see these lines on here, you can take your 12 millimeter wrench and go down or up, and that will adjust your height. And so at the bottom you have dampening adjustments. So technically you can get your ride height and your dampening just right for whatever conditions that you're running your bike in, racing your bike in. So yeah, a lot of the zinc that you see is not zinc, it's cadmium, which is kind of like a different kind of zinc. It's an old school thing that people used to use on bikes, and it just lasts forever. And so it's like gold cadmium. It's going to be a little bit more dull, You'll see I did do the gold zinc on some of the stuff. It's brighter. You can kind of tell the difference. But like all my engine bolts, all of that stuff is just in the cadmium. And that's for it to just to last longer. It's not as pretty. Like, for example, you can see, if I get it out of the way, that's gold zinc. The axle is gold zinc. So it's just brighter. The gold zinc is, but the cadmiums, it lasts longer. So it's got a combination throughout the bike. I did continue. I tried to stay with the same flow all through the bike, as you see. The wheels have been completely redone. These are inky wheels from the 86 ATC250R. They've been completely redone in the gold anodized. Looks beautiful. I gold anodized, and it's kind of hard to tell because it all blends in so well, which is what I wanted. The skid plate, front skid plate, and the rear skid plate. And so it just kind of all flows. All right, so moving on. As you can see, even the brake discs have been cadmiumed. Moving on. This is a 1985/1986 ATC250R Short Course kit. They came later in 85. You could actually order them straight from the dealership also. And it's a pretty major kit. It allows your steering to go way more back, and I'll show you how much further back. Is because, so here is your stop for the regular, let's see if I can get in there. I don't even know if I can, hold on, sorry. Here's your stop for your regular bike. You know, it's here. You can see how much further this thing comes back, and that's why I had to trim those for it to come back. So it turns quite a bit more than your factory bike, and that just allows you to slide better, and really that's how they should be designed. But if you're not used to it, you get on it thinking it's like a normal regular ATC250R, you're gonna kill yourself. Like it's far different, and so you want to know what you're doing, and all that good stuff, which people that were ordering it and people that have it nowadays definitely know what it is. So yeah, just trying to go over my work here so you guys can see. Yeah, so short course kit. You got hoses, which I have the whole kit. You got hoses, you got a tank, and it changed out your triple trees, and you got the shrouds. So it was a pretty major kit. You know, I had one in the box here recently that I sold to a friend. I had an extra one, and it's big. Like, it's a big kit. It's probably the largest Honda line option I think you could probably get. They're most expensive, I would imagine. Changed a lot of stuff, and so that's all been changed. You see, I got this number plate to fit around. A lot of people don't use this, your brake hose guide, just because the number plate won't go back, but I end up trimming that to make it go back, and looks pretty good. Let's see. I guess onto the motor. So the motor is a 1985 ATC250R bottom end with an 85 CR250 Mugen top end. I'll go over to some literature here in a second to kind of tell you the difference. So in 1985 was the last 250 cylinder you could get from a CR, and it just plops right on an ATC bottom end. It's, as you can see, it fits right on there perfectly. See if you can see the Mugen. There you go in it. And this thing is super trick. I waited years and years to find one of these. It's more tricks. See, in 1986 they came out with the Mugen kit for the ATC. And obviously the forks was in that kit, so it was a rear shock, and then the cylinder at the top end. And it was Nicosil board, and it was designed around a 34 millimeter small exhaust bike, which would be your ATC250R. And so everybody wants, I mean, if you can find either or, it's awesome. But if you had a choice, you would want the 85 CR250R Mugen, because it's chrome board, and it was built around a 36 millimeter carb and a larger exhaust. And so you've got a lot more, it's got a lot more performance. Now, what I did do is make a mistake, because you see all this extra cooling in here comparatively, and the 86 is like this also. I made a mistake and put larger radiators, which they are gold anodized also. I don't know if you can see down through there. I put larger radiators in there, and so basically it's overcooled. It takes forever for the thing to warm up. But yeah, let's go over to some literature. That guy's almost done back there. Turned out beautiful. That's a 1985 ATC250R. That will be for sale real soon. I'm just waiting on plastics. So, got some literature here. And a big shout out goes to my friend that's put up with me throughout all this search and stuff like that, Tricycle guy. If you YouTube, search Tricycle guy, he's got a great channel. He recently did a air-cooled flat track bike, and he's the only one I know that has one, and it's really, really neat. So you should go and check that out, and tell him Lance, next time that, if you guys go to his channel, tell him Lance said Happy Pride Month. But yeah, super thankful for him. This is what you got paperwork wise with your kit. Far as I know, and I've talked to everybody that knows anything about anything, in 85 and 86 you could not just go and buy these. You had to have a race team or be on the inside kind of situation. Previously to 85, Mugen, they did a lot of advertising, and they were just selling like a regular parts manufacturer. Mugen is, especially back then, it was Honda's in-house tuner. Honda's son owns Mugen. And so they were doing all the HRC stuff, and they were HRC back then. And they did a lot of really, really trick stuff, which I'll show you on this other page here. But yeah, so anyways, you got with this kit, and this is the CR kit, cylinder, exhaust, reeds, and you have to have special, I don't know how special they were back then, but nowadays it's impossible. You have to find Mugen rings, and which you want anyways, but it's so impossible to find a set of rings from like just a regular manufacturer that are not chrome lined, because you can't do chrome on chrome. And so it's kind of nicer if you have, as far as that's concerned, the less potent 86 ATC250R Mugen cylinder, just because it has Nicosil instead of chrome. It's just a lot easier to find rings. Although if you've got it, you know how much this stuff costs and how hard it is to find. You're probably not running the bike all that much, so it probably doesn't matter. But anyways, this is cool, and I wanted to show this because I found it, which I was super lucky, because it has all of the stuff you need to know to set up the bike. So main jet, slow jet, all that good stuff. And I went and got me an 86 mil, or let's see, what was it? Gosh darn, I'm drawing a blank. A 1985 CR250R carburetor, because in 86, I believe they went to a 38 millimeter. In 85, it was still a 36 millimeter. This was designed around a 36 millimeter carburetor. So that's what I've got on there now. And I even came across the spark plug, new old stock on eBay, which is super cool. Caution is a hard chrome alloy cylinder. Use the piston rings in the kit only. So I didn't even notice that until I didn't even say that going to lead into that sentence. But yeah, I just noticed that. That's pretty interesting. I guess I forgot about that. But a standard water hose should be used. All of this stuff is just so neat to have. And so again, you could only get the kit in 85, 86. For some reason, earlier, and here's some more literature, earlier, 78, 9, and 1980, you could get whole bikes from them. Basically a whole works bike. It's pretty crazy. And you can pause the video and kind of read this stuff, but I'm kind of going through it fast because I don't want to bore you to death. But as you can see, and for some reason the 125s were, they really spent a lot of R&D and time on. That must be their best selling worldwide. But again, you could get a whole Mugen bike for $3,000 back then. And then you could get a water-cooled kit for the 1980 model for $750. Which was a lot of damn money back then. But it wasn't crazy money, you know. Imagine if you had that today. Whew. So, yeah, again, I'm going to split this up in 2 videos. I think I'm already at 17 minutes. I will go over the engine before we continue, since I started on it. So now you kind of get the gist of the difference in the Mugen stuff and etc. I am running V-Force 3 reeds. Watch out for the Chinese V-Force 3 reeds con. And there's a lot of people out there that's running these knockoff reeds, and they didn't pay knockoff prices for them. So yeah, if you buy reeds, shine a light through them, make sure that they're you know, connecting. But yeah, V-Force 3 reeds, again, the 36 millimeter PJ carb. The whole bottom end has been completely redone, and I got pretty stupid on that. New crank, I think it's Ricky Stator out of California makes this great stator for it. And I got all new wiring from South Texas Banshee. And so it's just very, very clean, you know, very crisp. Everything runs, and it sounds weird too. And I don't know if you need to be here. I'll try to start it in part 2. But it definitely sounds different from a regular 250R. It sounds a lot different. And the guy that I purchased from, he told me that, and I didn't quite really, I mean, I believed him, but I didn't realize it was going to be that strange. It's like a deeper sound. It's different. Yeah, hopefully that comes through in the video. But yeah, this is part 1. And I'll do a part 2 shortly after this, and keep on going through what's done on the bike and what's special about it and all that good stuff. So thank you for watching, and again, I am so happy that this thing is done and I'm able to show you guys. It's just been a lifelong, not lifelong, but my whole time I've been in the hobby, it's been my dream to build this exact bike. So yeah, watch out for part 2.